The Anti-Zoom, interviews that shouldn't work but do.
Welcome back to the Anti-Zoom, where we explore job interviews that broke every rule but somehow led to dream jobs. I'm Sarah, and today we have perhaps our most audacious story yet. Meet Jordan Kim, a product manager who walked into a series of startup interview and told the founders their entire business model was fundamentally flawed, and walked out as their new head of product. Jordan set the scene. What kind of startup was this?
AI-powered meal planning startup. They just raised $15 million in Series A funding, had about 30 employees, and were super excited about their vision of revolutionizing how people think about food. Classic Silicon Valley energy, lots of confidence, big market claims, ambitious roadmaps.
And you decided to tell them it wouldn't work.
Not immediately, but when they asked me what I thought about their product strategy, let's just say I had some concerns.
Wavy lines and different lighting.
So Jordan, we're really excited to have you here. Let me walk you through our vision. We're building an AI that creates personalized meal plans based on your dietary preferences, health goals, and taste profile. In Spotify for food, the more you use it, the better it gets at predicting what you'll love.
We've got some really sophisticated machine learning models trained on nutritional data, recipe databases, and user preference patterns. Our beta users are seeing average engagement rates of 40% week over week, which is incredible for this space.
The market opportunity is massive, $50 billion in meal planning and grocery delivery. We're positioned to capture a significant portion of that. What are your initial thoughts on our product strategy?
Can I ask you a few questions first? How long do your beta users typically stay engaged with the product?
Well, we're still optimizing retention metrics, but our initial cohort.
How many users are still actively meal planning after month 3?
We're seeing some drop-off, which is normal for any app.
And how many users actually cook the meals that get recommended to them?
We don't track cooking completion, but our engagement metrics show.
I need to be honest with you. I think your product is solving the wrong problem, and your business model has some fundamental flaws that could kill the company.
Dead silence.
I can only imagine the founders' faces at that moment.
Rachel looked like I'd just insulted her children. Marcus was staring at me like I'd lost my mind. But I figured if I was going to potentially work there, they needed to hear this from someone who understood the market.
Excuse me, we've raised $15 million based on this vision. Our investors believe in the market opportunity.
Your investors believe in the TAM, total addressable market, but TAM doesn't mean serviceable addressable market. Just because people spend $50 billion on food doesn't mean they want an AI to plan their meals. Let me ask you this, how many meal planning companies have succeeded at scale? How many users does Mealime have? What happened to Yumly's meal planning features? What about PlateJoy, Eat This Much, or any of the dozen other startups that tried this exact same approach?
But our AI is more sophisticated, our personalization engine.
Technology isn't your problem, user behavior is. People don't want to be told what to eat by an algorithm. They want inspiration, not instruction. And meal planning isn't actually the painful part of cooking. Grocery shopping, prep time, and cleanup are. Your engagement rates prove this. 40% week over week sounds great until you realize it means 60% of users drop off every week. By month 3, you probably have single-digit retention. That's not a product market fit problem, that's a fundamental value proposition problem.
You seem to know a lot about our competitors. Have you researched this space before?
I spent 2 years at a food tech startup that pivoted 3 times before finding product market fit. I've seen this movie before. The meal planning approach feels logical to founders and investors because it's data-driven and personalized. But it doesn't match how people actually make food decisions. Real meal decisions are emotional, spontaneous, and context-dependent. What I'm craving today, what's in my fridge, what my family wants, how much energy I have after work. No algorithm captures that complexity.
So you're saying we should just shut down?
Not at all. You have great technology, smart people, and real funding. But you need to pivot before you burn through your runway building something people don't actually want.
What would you suggest?
Focus on the actual pain points. Instead of meal planning, build tools for meal discovery and grocery optimization. Help people find recipes when they're stuck, not plan their entire week. Make grocery shopping more efficient, not more personalized. Your AI could be amazing at I have chicken, broccoli, and rice, what can I make? Or find me 30-minute dinner recipes that my kids will actually eat. Solve immediate, specific problems instead of trying to revolutionize how people think about food.
That's actually much more technically feasible, and we already have most of the infrastructure for that.
How did the founders react to your alternative vision?
Rachel got really quiet for a few minutes, then she asked me something I wasn't expecting.
Our retention numbers are exactly what you described. We've been trying to fix it with better personalization algorithms, but maybe we're optimizing the wrong metric.
Retention problems usually aren't technology problems, they're value problems. If users don't come back, it's because they're not getting enough value to overcome the friction of changing their habits.
How would you test your hypothesis about what users actually want?
Start with user interviews focused on their actual cooking behavior, not their aspirational meal planning goals. Build lightweight prototypes of the discovery tools. A/B test against your current meal planning flow. Measure not just engagement, but cooking completion and long-term habit formation. Most importantly, talk to your churned users. They'll tell you exactly why meal planning didn't work for them. That data is more valuable than any engagement metric.
We could probably prototype the recipe discovery tool in a few weeks. We already have the ingredient database and recipe matching algorithms.
But what about our investors? We pitch them on meal planning as a service. How do we explain a pivot?
Investors care about returns, not specific product features. Show them user engagement data, retention curves, and market research. Frame it as optimizing for product market fit rather than pivoting. Smart investors would rather you find a sustainable business model than burn through runway on something that doesn't work. Plus, discovery tools have better monetization potential. Affiliate revenue from grocery partnerships, premium recipe features, cooking equipment recommendations. Meal planning is hard to monetize because it's a low-frequency use case.
So after basically telling them their company was doomed, what happened next?
Rachel and Marcus stepped out for about 10 minutes. I was pretty sure I just talked myself out of a job, but when they came back,
We've been struggling with our retention numbers for months. Our product team keeps building features that test well but don't improve long-term engagement. It sounds like you understand our users better than we do.
Would you be interested in leading our product strategy, not just implementing our roadmap, but helping us figure out what we should actually be building?
We need someone who can challenge our assumptions and help us find real product market fit. That conversation was more valuable than our last 3 board meetings combined.
And that's how telling a startup their idea would fail got you ahead of product role.
exactly, they realized they needed someone who could see the problems they couldn't see and had the experience to navigate a strategic pivot.
How did the pivot work out?
8 months later, we launched the recipe discovery tool. User retention improved by 300%, and we hit profitability 6 months ahead of our original projections. Turns out people really did want help with what to cook tonight more than what to eat this week.
Any resistance from the team about changing direction?
Initially, yes. The engineering team had spent months building the meal planning algorithms. But when we showed them user feedback and retention data, they got excited about building something people actually wanted to use. Data changes minds faster than arguments.
What would you tell other candidates who are tempted to criticize a company's core strategy?
First, make sure you actually understand the market and have relevant experience. Don't just criticize, come with data, examples, and alternatives, and frame it as helping them succeed, not proving them wrong. Most importantly, read the room. If founders are defensive and closed-minded, challenging them won't work. But if they're genuinely curious about solving problems, honest feedback can be incredibly valuable.
And for founders who might be interviewing someone like you,
Ask candidates what they think about your product strategy. If they just tell you it's great, they're either not thinking critically or not being honest. The best hires will have thoughtful questions and maybe some uncomfortable insights. Building a successful startup requires constantly questioning your assumptions. If you can't handle that in an interview, you're not ready for the market feedback that's coming.
Jordan Kim, everyone proof that sometimes the most valuable interview feedback is the kind that makes founders uncomfortable. Thanks for sharing your story.
Thanks for having me. And remember, if you can't handle honest feedback in an interview, you're definitely not ready for honest feedback from users.
That's a wrap on this episode of the Anti-Zoom. Next time, we'll explore more unconventional interview moments that led to unexpected career opportunities. Until then, remember, sometimes the most honest answer is the most valuable one, even when it challenges everything the interviewer believes.
Subscribe for more unconventional career stories.